guys, welcome back to Science Saturdays. I'm your host Kevin with the City of Cajon Rec Department, and today for our experiment we are going to create juice box cars. So, with a few basic household items that you can find around your house, you can end up making something super awesome like this. Okay, we'll go into more detail of how it works, but this is what we're going to end up making, and you can kind of design it any way you like it, depending on what kind of things that you like or what juice boxes you have. And we'll go into that more in detail a little bit later here, but this is kind of the end result, what we're looking for here. Alright, so to get started, I wanted to go over with two key words that we need to understand to kind of understand the sciencey nature of this experiment. So the first word we're going over is called thrust, which is just pushing something suddenly in a specified direction. So if you're pushed in a direction, thrusted in one direction, that is called thrust. Okay? It's also known as the propulsion force. Propulsion is a big word, okay? And so we might kind of wanted to go more into detail with that word to try to help you guys understand what propulsion means. Okay? So propulsion means it's just basically the action of driving or pushing something forward. Okay, so if something's being pushed forward, there's a propulsion force which is driving that item or whatever that object is forward, and that's propulsion. Okay, propulsion force goes really into the sciencey part of our experiment and ties into Isaac Newton's third law. So he has three laws of physics, and we're going to be going into his third law of physics, which is each action has an equal and opposite reaction. So if you're being thrusted forward, there's going to be another force pushing you back as well. So as you're going forward, being thrusted forward, you're going to have some kind of force pushing you back as well. So, for example, I'm going to show you guys here. If you blow up a balloon, just like this, I kind of give you guys a visual here. You blow up a balloon just like this, you have a bunch of air molecules in the balloon. Once I release it, all the air molecules are going to push this way, but is the balloon going to go that way? No, it's actually going to go that way. It's going to be pushed that way from the propulsion of the air molecules coming out of the balloon going that way. So this ties into the third law of motion, because each action, the action of the air molecules coming out of the balloon, there's an opposite reaction, which is the balloon actually moving forward. So just like this, it moves, the air is being pushed that way, and the balloon was pushed that way because of it. Okay? So, this is actually what is going to be our engine of our car. This is exactly what we're using for our propulsion engine in our juice box car. So, before we get started on actually making the car and the engine and everything, I want to go over the materials that you guys are going to need to make this awesome juice box car. Okay? The first thing you need, in the name of it, is a juice box, an empty one, not a full one. You don't want it to be full. Make sure you drink it or empty it out. Just a basic plain old juice box, just like this. Okay. The next thing that you need is a balloon, just an empty balloon. Maybe bigger the better, but this is just kind of a normal sized balloon, and it works perfect for this experiment. And this is actually going to be the engine of our car. Okay. Alright, and then you need a rubber band, just one rubber band. You can do a little small guy, I'll come closer to show you. You can do a little small guy like this guy, or a bigger guy like this. Doesn't matter, the smaller ones are actually easier to use because you need to tie them less, but the big ones work just as fine as well. I'll use the big one to kind of show you guys how to use it, because those are the most normal ones. Next thing is our toothpicks. So you're going to need two just basic toothpicks, or ordinary toothpicks that you can buy at any kind of grocery store. Toothpicks just like this, okay? Next, which is kind of the hardest thing to find out of this whole experiment, is the water bottle caps. So you need 4 disposable water caps, just like this. I'll come closer to show you. You need 4 of them because these are going to be our wheels, and they need to be the same size. Okay, the same size water bottle caps, because if they are different, your car is going to be unbalanced and probably steer in one direction over the other one if you have different sized wheels. Okay, so you need 4 of the same size water bottle caps. Next is you need some tape. You can use some painter's tape or just some regular clear tape, just like this. I actually like using the clear tape better. It happens to be more stickier with the straw that you're going to end up using and the paper that you're going to end up using. But whichever tape you guys have at home, any kind of tape will work as long as it's sticky. And then you need a straw. This is the straw that you're going to blow into to start the propulsion in the balloon. Okay, so that the air can come out of the balloon and give your car some thrust. Okay, and then some paper clips, or just in general you need weight. You can use coins if you have some coins in your pocket or around the house. You can use that, or some paper clips work as well. We're going to use paper clips because these are probably the easiest things to find for us here, and I'll show you guys more of that in the video, how to actually use the weight onto the car. And last but not least, you just need some paper, just a little bit of paper. I'll show you guys what this is for, but this is going to create the axle or help our axle in our car. It's going to help the wheels actually spin when you let go of the balloon and let the car go. And it's actually going to make the wheels spin, our bottle caps, and make our car go super fast. Okay. So these are all the materials that you're going to need. Next, we're going to do a over sky view video of us making it, so you guys can kind of see the details. And yeah, so let's get started. Alright guys, so these are the steps in making our juice box car. So for the first step, in order to make it, it's going to end up looking like this guy. Okay, we are going to get our juice box. We're going to pick which side we want to be our bottom side. That's going to end up looking like this. I'll leave this here to kind of show you guys a reference of what it's going to end up looking like. So we're going to pick this side because it's the flattest side. This side has a little bit of a dent. So we're going to pick this side to be our bottom side. Okay. I know it's at the top right now, and it might be a little confusing, but this is going to be the bottom of our car. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make the axles for our car, which are these guys right here. Okay. So we're going to need 2 toothpicks. And we're going to need a piece of tape, or a piece of paper like this. A good way of measuring how wide you need your piece of paper to be is on a piece of paper you'll see this red line, just like this on a normal piece of paper. That width from the end to there is just about the width that you need, about 1 inch length. Okay. So the next step is what we're going to do is we're going to rip off a piece. You just need about 2 to 3 inch length piece to rip off. You can rip it off or you can cut it off if you have scissors. We're just going to rip it off because it works just the same. Okay. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to roll it up. We don't want to roll it super tight because we eventually want the toothpick to go through in the middle of it. Okay. So we're going to roll it up. You want to make it at least, you want to make it tight, but you don't want to make it tight enough to where the toothpick can't fit into it. Okay. So this is probably perfect, just like that. And how we're going to close it, we're going to get a little piece of tape, little guy here, and we're going to tape around it, just like that. Perfect. Alright, and because there's 2 axles, we got to make a second one of these guys. So, get our piece of paper, about 2 or 3 inches long, rip there, and then we're going to roll it, just like this. Again, remember you want your toothpick to be able to fit in it, so don't make it super tight. Okay, get to the end of it, we're going to tape it again. I tape this one. Just like that. Alright. She's ready to rock and roll. Okay, so we got those two guys. Next, we're going to tape it onto the bottom of our car. So we're going to get a piece of tape for the first one. Just tape across it. Okay, so when you position these, you don't want to have them at the end of your cars like that. You don't want to have them in the very middle. Okay, you want to have them about a quarter of the distance on each side, just about like this. Just like how you see here, it gives a little bit of a distance here, a little bit of a distance here. Okay, so the first one, what we're going to do is we're going to put it here, and we're going to tape it onto there. Just like that. It's nice and secure. Okay. Make sure that you have it in the middle of your box. Okay. If you have it sticking out on either side, it'll mess up the whole axle and will mess up the balance of your car. So make sure that you keep it nice in the middle, just like that. This one, we're going to get another piece of tape, and we're going to tape this guy. Again, kind of the same distance about from the edge right here. Okay. Tape them just like this. Okay. It's also very important to make sure that your these guys are nice and straight. Okay, if you have them to the side, off to that, your wheels are going to be bent. You don't want that. Okay, so make sure they're nice and straight. Next thing, what we're going to do is we are going to make the wheels. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, you might want to have your parents do this if you have an available parent to help you out, an adult. What we're going to do is we're going to push the toothpick just barely enough through the center of this bottle cap. You need a little bit of force to do it, so you get it right here in the middle and you push pretty hard. There you go, and it's through. Okay, don't push it all the way through to the middle because you want it to be nice and tight into the bottle, just like that. Okay, next we're going to put the other wheel on there. Just like this. Okay. Again, be very careful when you're doing this. Kind of ease it in there. Don't just stab it in there because then you can end up stabbing your finger on the other end. Okay, so be very careful with this step as you're doing it. Okay. So next step is we're going to take the one wheel off so we can put the axle through, or put the axle and the wheels through. So it slides right in just like that. Notice how I can spin it just like that. Okay. And then we're going to stick this wheel on. Make sure we don't push it too tight to where the hole expands. Just like that. Notice how we can spin it just like that. Okay. So now we're going to do the same exact thing for this side. So we're going to get our other axle and put our wheels on it. So, going to push it again through. Remember, be very careful as you're doing this. I like to do it, hold it like this. So that just in case if you do stab through too fast or too hard, you don't end up stabbing your fingers over here. Okay, so push it through, just like that. You'll hear a little snap because you're pushing through that plastic. And next, do the same thing. Make sure you get right in the middle of the bottle cap. You want to get right in the middle because if you don't, the wheels are going to be off balance because they'll end up, if you have it over here, the one wheel is going to be higher than the others and then your car is going to be unbalanced. So just like the last step, take one wheel off, push it through our guy here, and then add the wheel back on. Okay. Alright. Once you have this done, you want to make sure that you have distance, a space between the wheel and your box car here, okay? If it's pressed up against it, or both of them, the wheels aren't going to spin, the axle won't spin, okay? So make sure you have a little bit of distance here. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to finish the bottom by adding our weight. Your weight, you can use any kind of coins or paper clips, something like that. Today we're going to use paper clips, so we have here just a stack of 4 paper clips, just like this. We're going to stack them together. I'm going to get a piece of tape to tape around them to make a nice stack. Doesn't have to be a crazy amount of weight at all by any happenstance, but Just even like 1/4, a couple pennies will do, because you want to be able to keep the back of your car on the ground. If you don't add this weight, your car might lift a little bit and won't have all the wheels onto the car. Okay, so we have our nice little bundle just like this guy, and now we're going to tape him to the back of our car. And at this point you can choose which side you want to be the back of your car. I'm going to choose this to be the back of our car. So put him here. Make sure he's not touching the wheels. We don't want him to touch the wheels because then it'll stop the wheels from turning. So push that down there and then tape him to the side just like this. So he's nice and taped onto there. Paper clips work perfect because they're kind of the same width as the box, so they don't go over the edge. They're like super perfect to work for to keep your weight. So now our bottom is done. Our bottom of our car is done. So next we're going to flip to the top. Boom. Notice how she's moving and grooving. Okay. We're going to get our straw. We need a straw. Okay. And we need our balloon that we got. And we need our rubber band. I have a big rubber band or a normal size rubber band there. You can use the little guy. The little guys are easier, but today I'll show you how to use the bigger rubber band. So, first step is we're going to put the balloon onto the straw about 1 inch or so down the straw. Okay, you don't want to do it just at the end because it might fall off. You don't want to do it further down because then you won't have enough space to put it on the car. So just about 1 inch down the straw, we're going to put it right here. Okay, hold it together like this, and this is how we're going to tie it together. So we're going to put the rubber band here, and we're going to start wrapping it around it, just like this. Wrap, wrap. Okay. I do it probably about 6 or 7 times until the rubber band's pretty solidly on there. Okay, do it one more time. You have to do it a little bit more because of how long the rubber band is, but this is pretty good. Notice how the balloon's on there, rubber band's holding it perfect just like that. Okay, so the next step is we're going to put the balloon and the straw onto the top of the car. This is our engine. Okay, make sure that the balloon end is on the side, on the back side where we are weighted here. Okay, that's where we want it to be, on our back side, right here. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to push this right here, just like that. We'll flip this up to show you guys what it looks like at the top. Okay, so we want to make sure that the balloon is not on the box. Okay, we want to give her enough space to where we can blow into the balloon on this side. Okay, so now we're going to make sure it's nice and straight on the box, and then we're going to tape it onto there. I like taping both ends, just like this. There's one. You can always add more tape if you want it to be super secure and super sturdy. And make sure that it's nice and center in the middle of the box, because if you have it on one side or the other, it will make your car off balance and not drive straight. Okay, so here you go. Alright, so there she is. She's all set. You have your top, your bottom, and this is what she should look like. The balloon and the weights are right here to keep it nice and steady and weighted, okay? And so that it doesn't fly up. And then we're going to show you how it works here in a second, okay? Alright guys, so here we go. We're going to test out our models, our cars that we made, our juice box cars, okay? So, it'll end up looking like this, just the way we finished here, okay? We're going to have the balloon side facing the direction that we want the juice box car to go. Okay, so whatever side that this balloon's on, it's going to shoot off in that direction. If it's facing this way, with the balloon on that side, it's going to go that direction. Okay, so the steps on how to make it go. So first step is you're going to blow air through the straw into the balloon, just like this. Okay, you don't need too much air. You can put more in there than that. Okay. Next step is to put your finger at the tip of the straw, just like this. I'll show you how I'm holding it. Okay, just like this. I have my finger at the tip so that the air is not coming out of the balloon. Okay, and then have my fingers on the side holding the car steady. Okay, so next step, what we're going to do, so we're going to blow it back up because the air came out of it. This is our engine. Our balloons in our engine, air molecules are going to shoot out from the balloon through the straw, creating thrust, pushing the air molecules out, which is going to make the car shoot off that way. Because remember, each action has an equal and opposite reaction. So the action of the air molecules shooting out that way is going to cause the car to shoot and thrust forward that way. Okay? So let's get one good blow into this balloon here. Alright, so we're here, we're ready in action. We're going to set the car down, just like this. We're going to release and let him fly. And there he goes. Alright, so you guys can do this at home. It's an awesome, fun way to create a nice little race car. You guys can kind of customize them too if you want, like put paper on them and draw on them and make them actual cars instead of juice boxes. But there's a lot of different ways you can do this. And what we want you guys to do, if you guys do end up doing this experiment, is go to Instagram, post it, maybe send a picture of it or a video of your car racing or whatever, and then tag us in it at El Cajon Rec. It's just El Cajon Rec, right? You can tag us there. And we'd love to watch your guys' videos and see what you guys did for your experiment. And then if you guys also want to see other virtual videos that we've made throughout the rec department, you guys can visit us at www.elcajonrec.org. Okay, there's a bunch of different variety of videos you guys can watch, and you guys can explore if you want to. So thank you guys for coming today. I appreciate you guys stopping by for Science Saturdays again, and I hope to see you guys next Saturday.